Welcome back. We are starting on underbody protection. Here's the bash plate that I made that I didn't end up getting to show you last video. That protects most of the intercooler, but the sides aren't done. I need to protect this. And there's the sump. Definitely want him protected, so I'll have a plate between there and there, and maybe even the gearbox. Much easier to bend a smaller piece. This will go here. I'll go behind that. That's not good. Okay, new plan again. I've cut this in half. Now we have two of them. Decided. I'm gonna put one there, and then I'm gonna go from here out there with a different piece. And we'll also do the same with this side. That bolts to that, and that's our extension. It's now time to focus on the other sides. What we're looking at is where the wheel steers through. We need to get that out of the way, and the curve of the body. We've roundabout made that. This is the shape that we are making. Basically got to draw around. And then you end up with something looking a little bit like this. Now this is the right side. This is a little more complicated. We've got this bend, this bend, this bend. This is about to bend. Bending it on an angle is going to be the fun part before we make this section here. This piece is going to go like that. This has taken so much longer than I expected. We're going to clear that gap. This is on. Ta-da! And now it's painted. Now I need to get the suspension out of this car. It's the same as what's on the white car, and I need to get them sent away to a fabricator who's going to make me up some spacers, and those spacers are going to be used to raise the car a little bit more. I'm going to be bringing a lot of spares off this car, but for the moment I need to get one out of the front and the rear of the car and get them sent away. So join me while we get these out of here. A little bit about this car. It is a non-turbo. Boo, I know, it's a mess. Tim Tams are good, but no good to get this thing running. I could get it running, but there is absolutely no purpose. We're missing a couple of sensors. A lot of random things have been taken off this car. For the moment though, it's just a spare parts car and it sits here doing nothing. What we actually have to do is just simply unbolt these three, jack up the car, unbolt the top control arm to be able to move the assembly away, and I'll be able to get the shock out, and then unscrew this from here, and same thing down here, except I don't need to move the control arm because that should come straight out. One day this car will run. So I lost my jack handle, so I'm running all my extensions down to a socket on the end there, and I lock and unlock this with a ratchet. That's a fun story. Ooh. So to get this suspension out, we simply need to unbolt this. Once that's out, I'm going to loosen the top bolts above here and it will just drop. Shouldn't be too bad. Memory. Maybe it required some bar action. Alright, so I'm taking off the brake calipers. Okay. A little bit of force. Got us there. Coilover one. We're going to need to undo this. That's one bolt that runs across. That'll drop this whole assembly forward, this and this, and then take off from the top. So now we loosen from the top. Coilover number 2. Yes. We are actually running these in that car already, and these are going to be coming along as spare. But as I said in the beginning of the video, we're actually getting these sent away, and we'll be going for a 1.5 inch spacer. See this thread in here? If you keep winding this, it pushes the thread down extending the shock until it basically maxes out. I've maxed out that, and I've maxed out this bottom section. You can wind this down and there's like more thread here. So I've extended this and I've extended this to its maximum, or close to, on that car. Now the problem I'm having is that now it's knocking because these are at full extensions. They're not actually working properly. I'm happy enough with that height. That spacer is going to give me the ability to leave everything as is, but wind this back up, still have the same height and more if I need to for the road trip. So I need to sort that out. So when I knew that the car was going to be making a lot more power, I knew that I needed a clutch to do the job. Now I wanted to go to a single plate clutch, and that's because of my experiences with twin plate clutches. I don't know the brands specifically, but I've always known a twin plate clutch to be a clutch that rattles violently when you press the clutch in and you're stopped, to have a super harsh engagement and be super easy to stall, on off, no option. My preferred driving style is to ride the clutch a bit and be smooth in shifting, in maneuvering. This is a daily, it's not meant to be a violent, undrivable car. So I've tried out this Mantic clutch because I saw that it could hold over 700 Newton meters, and I have to say, after putting the clutch in, it's everything I wanted. It actually did hold up just shy of 400 kilowatts. We didn't go any higher because we didn't want to go any higher. Boost pressure at 25 psi, it did 390 kilowatts. It's good fun. It's not the fastest thing, but it is pretty fast. The main thing is that this clutch held it, and that's actually all I needed it to do. All the talk about twin plates, though, having been bane of my existence, actually got turned around, and that happened when my friend bought a Mantic twin plate for his HSV Club Sport. After driving that, I was actually very surprised at how smooth it was and forgiving, and there is actually no rattle. So a little bit of my mind was changed there, because I realized you can get a twin plate that does the work as well. And again, that's just another Mantic quality product. Think what you will, have your favorite brands if you do, but I personally won't be going anything other than Mantic going forward. You'd think sometimes it's just marketing. It's not. The other thing about twin plate clutches is obviously the cost. Everyone's working to some degree of a budget throughout their builds, and for me, the extra that it would cost to go to a twin plate wasn't worth it. I could replace it 3 times for the cost of one twin. But what also comes from the fact that it is a single plate clutch is that I get that little bit of insurance knowing that the clutch should slip before a gear strips. Maybe you know of other clutches that will hold the power, and I'm open to hearing about them. But after having experienced this and experiencing a twin plate Mantic clutch, I am